Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Between the Bellz. This is round 4. I'm your host, Adam Alexander, and of course, I got with me my two longtime therapists, Coach Joe Vargas,
What's up?
Coach Magz. How are you guys today? Welcome back. You guys went
Thank
off.
you.
You guys went off to
Stockton.
Stockton, California for
What do they call
Ricky's
it?
fight.
The 209.
Yeah, that's where they filmed Sons of Anarchy, isn't it?
Oh, I didn't know that. I just know that that's where Nick and Nate Diaz are from. That's it.
Oh,
That's all
okay.
I know about Stockton.
Oh, Nate. Which Diaz is about to fight one of the Paul brothers?
The Nate.
Nate. That's the older one.
No, it's a
Younger.
younger one. He looks older though.
Did you guys see the press conference?
Hell nah.
I seen when I seen.
Let's get this right there. There it is.
Why you
There
put
you
it so high like
Oh,
that, dog?
man.
It has to be
So
a
so I
wreck
can
like
hear
that.
you, so people can hear you.
Um,
There you go.
I
You
see.
don't have to be a wreck like that.
That's right in my face, dog.
No, you know what? This is good. I'm glad you did that in front. This is what I get during workouts, like just weird comments that I gotta act like are normal. And
God damn, dog. You got a cough?
Yeah.
no, you heard. Oh, am I that heavy-handed?
Yes, you
Strong,
are.
bro. You're fucking strong.
Yeah, you are. You're so strong, Adam.
I'm making that my ringtone. I'm making that my ringtone.
I just saw he walked away in the press conference.
That
So
he
use the
had to go to
bathroom.
his bathroom, and I
That's all I saw. I didn't see the press conference.
That's what like every Paul should get. Like I was like that kind of treatment because
Yeah,
he was
fuck
just
it.
sitting there like, wait, what? Like, dude just went. That's what? And I was like, yes, that's what you deserve. That's exactly the type of respect you deserve. Nobody should hold it.
I loved it. Yeah. That's the only thing I saw.
Yeah, I won't be watching it. Well, I'll.
I'll watch the highlights.
Yeah, exactly. I'll hope for Diaz, but that's that. So how did the Stockton fight go? Ricky
we
fought.
we took an L, but it was one of those L's that
He's a weirdo.
it's a weird L. You guys can watch the fight. I think it'll be loaded pretty soon. But we
It
fought
should be up there.
Brian Norman Jr., who was he 22-0,
23 and 0 at
20
the time. Yeah.
23-0. I think he had
Yeah,
like
like
19
Yeah.
knockouts. We fought him at his weight division. His gloves, the gloves that they wanted, 10-ounce gloves, and we're coming off a loss. Ricky's took 2 fights at a weight that didn't benefit him, or that wasn't his weight. I'm sorry, but he took those fights because nobody wants to fight him at 140. After this loss, the company, the matchmaker, was so excited they're gonna give Ricky a chance at Ricky's weight
Good,
for like 3 fights.
good.
So it's a loss, but a victory. I thought it was worthy of a draw, or we won by 1 point, but the judges didn't see it that way. Mr. Norman, who fought his fight and did what he did, he doesn't deserve any disrespect. He was in the middle of the ring. People were booing. Ricky, because everybody thought Ricky won in the
Oh, people booed the decision, not during the fight. Okay.
and people thought that Ricky had really won. I thought I was tripping. I thought we won 6 out of 2 rounds because I thought I was. And then me and Maggie, we watched it together again without, being influenced by the fight
Right.
when it's live, And then we have a little small vantage point where we can only see from the corner.
Uh-huh.
So we saw the fight, and I thought Ricky won 5 out of 8 rounds.
Okay.
But that was just me, and maybe I'm just being biased. If they asked them, they probably say the same thing, But that's just me. I just try to watch the other guy.
But
What did you think?
For myself, the first round, Ricky, absolutely, that was all his. It was very clear to me, and I think the last 3, 100%, that was all Ricky. Because
Really?
yes, it was very obvious. The Norman was the commentators were saying flat. He was just walking backward. He was tired, bro. He looked exhausted. I don't think he expected to get what he got that night, and possibly that was kind of fucking with his head. But
And you say he's a knockout. He's got 19 knockouts,
Yeah.
and those guys are tired when they
Yeah.
have to go the distance.
Yeah. Yes.
And most guys that have knockouts at that pace, they get it within the first 2-3 rounds. So Ricky's just so experienced, and Ricky took him into some deep water, and he couldn't provide. You could see the shift in the kid's eyes. He was gasping for air. He was weak. He was getting tired. He won, but he knew he was in a fight that night. So props to him. He's earned himself to be there, and we just got to get there. That's it.
Good. How old is Norman?
I think 23.
Yeah,
I'm not
something
sure.
like
22,
that.
23.
How old is
He's
Ricky?
young.
24.
24. Okay, these are kids doing it now. Now that's like, so when a fight goes that way, because You leave it to the judges. How did you feel about the judge? I mean, I know you disagreed, but did you also go, all right, I can see where they were
Hell
going from? No.
He can go for it.
No, she just said it. I mean, you kind of like, I kind of know some of the judges and you're hoping that you get a judge that's fair for your kind of fighter.
Mm-hmm.
Different judges see different fights, and that kind of fight we had to like. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I wasn't content with the fight either. I knew Ricky had a little more in him. He couldn't find it because give props to Norman. You know, Norman was doing his thing too. But yeah, I was disappointed. I think we should have won.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I asked that because, I don't think you know about it, but the Tony Weeks fight.
Yeah.
The fight.
That fight.
Did you come across it?
We were talking about it. It was the same night, so we didn't.
Right.
I
We
didn't
were fighting
watch
when that was happening too.
Right.
Yeah.
And because I missed the fights. It was ESPN Plus, that's subscription based. So I'm just, I missed it. So part of me was like wondering if they were on the same ticket. But now the Tony Weeks is a referee, and he called a fight so that the guy who was losing would win. And Tony Weeks has always been just top drawer type guy.
Is that your assessment, or is that like?
That's my assessment.
Okay.
I love seeing him in the Creed movies, right? and like, oh, okay. And there was one fight I found out because of this that he let go too long.
Okay.
Dude was just hurt,
Right.
and he just let go too long. So seeing this, but then it was like, can you explain that decision to call that fight so it makes sense?
Go ahead. Go for it.
Personally, man, I can't base myself off of the 10 seconds that I saw. I have to watch the whole fight. I'd have to be able to accurately give my opinion on that. But I think one thing that should be taken into consideration is the guy's age. He was 40,
right?
And possibly Tony Weeks was thinking, you know what, I can't let this dude take too much punishment. Again, I don't know what happened. I can't really speak too much on it because I'm not gonna base my. From the stoppage, the 10 seconds that I did see, it was weird. I was like, that is a really weird stoppage. However, I don't know what happened throughout the rest of the fight.
And that's exactly how I saw it. Now, it could have been fast enough where he was like, I gotta this guy. And what's his I just pulled it up. Ishmael Barroso. That's who lost the fight.
That's
Yeah,
who lost the fight.
That's who lost the fight. Right. Somebody's grandpa. He's only 40.
He doesn't
It
look
could
40.
be somebody's grandpa.
And 40.
We're at the airport, me and Maggie.
Yeah.
Somebody thought I was her dad, so he could.
Well,
yeah.
That
Technically, she could be my daughter. I'm 14 years older than her.
Technically, yes.
you're almost how many years?
I'm 14 years older than her.
Yeah.
That's
So, if
Yeah.
he would have had a kid at 20, and his 20-year-old would have had a kid,
He's a grandpa.
he's a grandpa.
that's true. It doesn't seem like that.
And I'm Latino, so I can say this. Latinos have kids at 16, 17 years
That's
old.
true.
You know?
I think just people.
Before the 15.
Yeah, before the quince.
Oh no, that's sad.
You know how
Say
like I say stuff that's just shouldn't be said.
Yeah.
I was on this Tinder date a couple of years ago, and this lady was like hyping herself up. She's like, "Can you believe I'm a grandma?"
I don't know.
And I was like, "Yeah." And she's like, "What?"
Did you do an about face or?
No, because I didn't know better.
He's like, ooh.
I didn't know better. Like I wasn't being mad. She asked me a literal question, and before my say, "Hey, what?" Nah. One, everything about her said, yeah, right? Like her hair was dyed like jet black, and she was 40 plus. So I was like, yes. And I gave her the math that you did. We didn't have a second date. Not that I wanted one. And I just like I knew. I don't ask.
Trip out. I knew
So
like
she,
a 34.
she was your Ismael Barroso then?
Yeah, pretty much.
You
Yeah.
had a what?
I knew a 34-year-old grandma.
34-year-old grandma.
Is she Latina?
Some
I'm telling you.
Yes. Without a doubt.
That's why there's so many of y'all.
Yeah.
Y'all start studying early.
We don't have TV.
Don't have TV. That's it.
That's it.
So if you hear that,
Trip out on
America?
this. My grandma, she's telling me a while ago, she said that when we were younger, when my mom was young, my grandma had 11 kids.
Right.
So she was on a public transportation in Tijuana, right? And she gets on the bus, and this lady was kind of snotty. She said, "Look at this lady with 6 kids. She must not have no TV." And my grandma looks at her. She goes, "As a matter of fact, I do. What I don't have is light."
Hear that, America? Just if we just throw televisions.
We stopped the kids.
That's OG. That's OG grandma.
Yeah.
Lala, my grandma that broke her hip. She just broke her hip.
Oh man.
91 years old. She's recovering though.
So did she get it replaced?
She got metals going through her legs.
Oh, pins.
Screws, yes, pins.
And so it's 91.
91.
Man, that's
My other grandma's 93.
dag.
Solid.
Yeah,
Solid gangster.
Yeah.
that's you got both your grandmas.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't.
I'm blessed.
Yeah, no, that's how I love watching Coach Joe's have like a family unit like
Always,
that.
yeah.
That's to me that's a like just watching that. I don't. So, but I've learned to appreciate it when I see it. You know,
You've been to my house.
Yeah, that's how I
You
saw
got
it.
welcomed in. You know, we're like,
Yeah,
that's family.
that's how I saw it. I was like, oh man. Every time you post pictures of you and your wife, I'm like, oh, he don't deserve that.
Thanks, bud. Thanks.
Wow.
I probably don't.
No. So let's see what
Weeks. This is my.
weeks.
Okay.
Yep. Thank you.
So Weeks. I don't know what fight Maggie's talking about where he let it go too long.
Oh, no,
Or
that was
you
him.
or you?
Yeah, I forget the names. Yeah, I forget the names,
But,
so I'm not gonna guess.
being in states and being in Nevada for training camps and all that, I know a lot of those referees. They go to the gyms and spar with the guys, and they develop a relationship with those fighters. You
Yep.
know,
Yeah.
people say, "Oh, it's a bribe. Or it's illegal. They're cheating." It's not that they're cheating; it's that they're developing a friendship with these athletes. So what happens is, like in that case, Weeks. Couple years back, he's real famous on social media where he's wearing a shirt covered in blood.
Yeah.
Yep, that's the fight that
Well,
people
it-
say went too
well,
long.
That guy that was bleeding was Badu Jack, who was a Mayweather fighter. And any other referee would have stopped that fight. And he let it go too long where it was for the benefit of Badu Jack. This fight, Rolly got counted for. Tony Weeks has been involved in boxing for so many years. He knows what a knockdown is. Rolly hits Mr. Barboso?
Baroso.
Barboso hits him.
You gotta roll your eyes.
Barboso, sorry, I don't know how to roll my R's. And shoves him down. And they give him an 8 count. Now, Weeks has been in the game long enough to know what a shove and a punch is because he knew that Rolly was falling behind. And if I was correct, he was behind on all the scorecards.
Yep,
That's-
that's the word.
I heard that.
The punches, I mean, I've always heard, I have uncles who are referees, you know, Joe Cortez, famous referee, and Michael Ortega, you know, and they've told me that when you're in the ring, sometimes you can hear punches that you can't see. The sound of the punch is different than when you see it on TV.
Oh yeah.
You know, you hear that leather hit that skin. It's different, so that influences their decisions. Rolly wasn't having any success. You know, he wasn't doing anything. So a lot of those punches were missing. You know the sound of punches landing, and you know the sound of punches missing. So on this one, I can't back up Weeks.
Okay, because I was wondering. I was like, it sounds like you're gonna land on the.
No, I'm not backing him up.
Yeah.
I just make it clear.
And I hope, like, well,
No, you provided a good perspective though, because you know it's not just like, oh no, he fucked up. These are things that a lot of people, a lot of the laymen, a lot of the people who are just in the comments, they don't understand that. They don't know that. You know
everybody's
what I
mad that they lost money. That's really.
mean? Yeah.
Fuck the money. Fuck this guy's
Yeah,
career. He lives
exactly.
in Venezuela. His country's falling apart. That money is life changing.
Yep.
He could have had another bigger check, you know, and it's sad. It's sad. Hopefully he gets another chance. His problem is father time.
Mm-hmm.
He wins that fight, he gets a shot at somebody for
Maybe
like
even Gervonta.
6 figures.
Now he could get a rematch on this one.
I don't see it happening. Though.
You don't?
Unless I don't know. I don't know how it could happen because who's supporting him? Who's gonna fight for him? He doesn't have a team behind him that has the power to demand for another fight.
Well, a lot of
He
people
took that fight on short notice.
I was about to say a lot of people be like, who even is this guy?
Oh,
Whose
and
grandpa did this?
Andy was a replacement
He was a
fighter.
replacement.
So he's a replacement fighter who was about to win.
Who was winning?
Who was winning? Well, about to win because you know if it
Anything
continued,
could happen, but he was winning.
he was winning.
Yeah.
Man, this sounds like. It sounds.
That's why you see Paul Malignaggi. A lot of the I like watching some of these podcasts where these guys are like fighters, and they express themselves frustration and anger.
Mm-hmm.
This is not right. You know, Rolly. I mean, he's doing his thing, but he's more popular for what he does on the behind the camera than what he does in the ring.
Okay, now let's take this apparent, like pretty alleged corruption.
There's another fight where Rolly lost, and he got the decision.
I heard about that
Yeah,
too.
there's another one too. Is on social. You can find that on social media. And then he's known for getting knocked out by Tank. That's the last. You don't. What other fights can you say? Damn, Rolly's the shit. You watch him sparring with Ryan Garcia about 25,000 years ago.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that makes him famous.
So, how does boxing? Because boxing is fighting. Like I told you, Dana White wanted to do what he did with UFC. He wanted to do that. Boxing came out and said, it's too corrupt. I can't deal with that.
Yeah.
How does boxing? Is there a way for boxing to overcome that reputation? Because with stuff like this happening,
the only way that I can say that it would overcome is something that would never happen, and we're just discussing this at the gym. Lance brought it up. Back in the days, they used to have one bout and 9 weight divisions.
Yeah.
Right now we have 18 weight divisions and 4 bouts per division with intermediate championships and youth titles and Latino titles. So each weight division, continentals.
And that's what I was telling you. I was like, remember when I compared boxing to NCAA?
Right.
I was like, there's all these weight divisions. Like, I can't keep up.
Right.
You know, boxing, I'm encouraged to learn which super tighty featherweight, whatever. Or it's then super heavyweight. It's I don't know. And so, but 18 different weight classes between what? What's the lowest weight?
108 or 106, I think.
Men?
Yeah, men.
Okay.
There's men that are that small in Latin America. Mostly those fighters are Latin America or Asia. They believe it. There's
I guess they when they dropped because Cobra was what 5'2",
112.
112.
He fought at 112. How tall is he?
About 5'4".
5'4".
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's interesting. That makes a lot of sense because now it's now that I'm seeing the height line up, my scale tells me when I get on my scale, it'll tell me my weight, but it'll say, hey, if you didn't have any fat, you'd weigh this pretty number right over here.
Oh, that's fucked up.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Then I got
I throw that scale out the window, bro.
And I spend a little bit thinking, it says 149. It'll say if, no fat. If you just, did sit-ups. If you did, that's welterweight, 149? 147. I'm working my way down to 185 with hopes to get down. Oh, absolutely. With hopes to get down from 185, I feel like I should be at automatically as a healthy adult. And then see if I can, I wanted to hit 185. I'm going to see how close I can get to 175. And that's it. I'm not going lower than 175 because I like food. I don't understand how. What's a diet like on these things?
That's the only reason that's the only reason I run is to eat whatever I want. People say, hey, what's your calorie intake? I don't fucking know, bro. I never counted that shit.
Yeah, but
I just run harder.
Okay, so what's your at the end of it?
Don't fucking ask me that question, bro. I don't know.
Not your calorie intake. How many calories? At the end of the day,
know.
Your watch tells you.
I don't know. Does it?
Oh, you mean his output?
Yeah.
He's asking about your output, bro.
Oh, I don't fucking know. I'll tell you right here.
Yeah, see? Somebody knows.
But you know what? Back to the
corruption.
The whole corruption. You know what? Sometimes we're talking about human error right now. It's gonna happen. The UFC is not perfect. I've seen some decisions that are extremely questionable. So it happens in Dana White can't say, oh, that shit happens in the fucking UFC too. So sometimes is human error. What can fix it? I think I think Coach here was getting on something good, which is stop all these belts.
Sanctioning bodies, yeah, because sanctioning bodies have influence. Sanctioning bodies are the belts. So you have the WBC, WBA, IBF, and WBO. Those are the 4 major ones. Each country, one is basically based in different countries, and they influence everything. They influence. When you're there, you don't have to say, oh, they were bribed. They weren't bribed. But when the champion shows up with the sanctioning bodies, and the sanctioning bodies, they're the commission's bosses. Commission's going to say, oh, they're not. They are.
I think, if people want to, be able to relate to what Coach just said, let's think about the NBA. I think the NBA is equally as influential in the outcomes of, Because they looked at the Lakers just beat the Golden State Warriors.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, and now the Lakers go on to the Western Conference Finals. But they were like the Golden State Warriors went to the line way more time, had way more fouls called. And it's been proven that there's been at least one corrupt referee in the NBA.
It's happened.
So it's like, hey, we need that for the life of our sport. We need that guy. It's like I hope the best man wins, and they do like that. And that's a shame.
That's exactly what happened to Rolly.
Mm-hmm.
Because Rolly would get the Ryan Garcia fight. And everybody wants to see that fight because that video that made Rolly famous is him beating up Ryan Garcia in the sparring match.
Okay. I'm understanding now, but there's just got to be a point where they just say, we will make the match happen, but best man will win.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Or it's just got to be a knockout. And so have you ever gone into a fight with a fighter and just told him, say, hey, if this goes decision, you're not going to win it?
Yeah, this weekend.
So that you knew going in.
Yeah, we knew that. They're the A side. They're the favorite. They're the defeated kid. They're the promising guy.
He's the one signed to Top Rank.
Yeah, he's the one signed to Top Rank. We're not. And I knew that. We went to decision. That's why I was asking him. He was content with what he was doing because he felt like he was winning. Because when you're fighting somebody, you know if you're winning or not. Mm-hmm. You can tell.
Right.
Between both you guys. That's why when you see that announcement, sometimes the guys are like, oh, shit, I got it, So, yeah, I mean, we all know who wins, and the decision, I just lost my track of thought, man.
No,
That was...
I just got frustrated thinking about it.
And I was going back to that moment, and I remembered, I was like, you know what? That was the very first time when we get to the decision, and I didn't know what was gonna happen, man.
No,
I really didn't.
And no, to when my guys fight, I was hype because usually I don't get hype. I wasn't. To me, hype is me being in the center of the ring.
Right.
I wasn't high five. I was excited, and I got right next to Ricky when they were announcing the fight because I was like, we got this one. We won. And they announced it for the other young man, and I was just like, fuck. All right. And I kind of like, oh, you knew that you were not going to win, Joe.
So you forgot that he wasn't going to. Then you're like, okay.
I just got caught up in the moment.
Yeah, that's got to be tough taking a loss based on somebody else's decision.
Yeah,
like that's
what they say. Don't leave it to the fucking judges.
Leave it to the judges.
Yeah, and and it's great that, like I was about to say. So where does he go from here?
So right after the fight was over, she's here. She won't let me lie. I'm taking off. We're taking off Ricky's stuff, and we're coming down the ring, and I just hear, Joe. And it's just one of the guys that works for them. I'm not going to say his name. And he calls me over quick, and he's like, fucking love this kid. Mm-hmm. I want to take care of him at his weight. I said, that's what I've been fucking telling you. We fought at a weight that wasn't ours just to get an opportunity.
Heavier or lighter?
Heavier.
Heavier, okay.
So he says, 140, we'll take care of him. We'll make sure he gets the fights that he deserves, and it's good pay. Say no more. And I was happy. I was disappointed with the outcome because we didn't get the win that we deserved, but I was happy that he got more opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
And it's funny because his last fight, he fought on short notice. He fought another guy that was in his weight, and the matchmaker for that guy, that was, I don't mind throwing his name in there because I don't really like him that much. It's Robert Diaz. You fucking heard me, Robert. He worked for Golden Boy.
Okay.
And he was excited so he promised us fights. So me and Robert don't see eye to eye. And I was like, cool, man, that's exciting, Robert. We're gonna bridge this problem that we have, and it's cool. You're gonna help us out. Good. He gets released from Golden Boy 2 weeks later.
Oh no.
So Ricky's chances is left right there.
Yeah.
He put up a hell of a fight.
Yeah.
But people are gonna probably watching him and say, well, he lost twice. Yeah, he lost twice. He lost twice to two guys that were undefeated, that are knockout artists, and they couldn't put him away. He's a 140-pound fighter. And he didn't lose getting his ass whooped. He didn't come out. This one, he got headbutted, and he got a cut. But he came out clean. So with Rocha, too, he came out clean.
Now, let's talk about the losing aspect. Now, from before I became a boxing fan and started watching it, I thought everybody was undefeated or at the most had one loss. It was like blah, 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 and one, or blah, 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 and zero. If you have more than one, you're a bum. Like I was wasn't a real fan.
Casual.
I was very casual fan. So now I see it's completely different.
Yeah, well, all those slogans come from from your side of the country, the east
He's a bum.
East County. I mean East County, east side of the New Yorkers, the Jewish, the Italians, the East Coast. Every time a guy was, you a fucking bum.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So that word was like degrading for a fighter. If you lost, you're gonna be a bum.
Right.
And if you weren't making it, you're a contender. You're there, but you're not there yet. You know.
Mm-hmm.
But I think anybody that jumps in that fucking ring is a loss doesn't hurt nobody. Sugar Ray Robinson, one of the best fighters of all time, had a loss. Ali had losses. You know,
Tyson had
Joe
losses.
Louis had losses.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You know, Jack Johnson, all these guys who are idols to us now
Mm-hmm.
had losses.
Even Pacquiao, the guys.
Pacquiao,
you
the
know,
guys that put it on the line that make fighting
Morales.
exciting, they have
Yeah.
losses. You're
That's
a
the
fighter.
risk you take.
Marvin Hagler.
He had losses. Yep.
Leonard.
I
had
know.
losses.
I know.
Duran had losses.
Mm-hmm.
So would you call those guys bums?
No.
No, it's exactly. Now there is guys that have like. There's a couple world champions out of Mexico because a lot of Mexican guys they turn pro very young at 15,
Mm-hmm.
and they take a couple losses, and they're not even in their man strength yet. And then they turn 24, 25. They're like 12-6, and they beat undefeated guys because they came into their man strength.
Those losses aren't like charges. They can't be expunged.
They're never expunged. But when you see them fight, you're like, look at this young man that fought with Rolly. I don't know his record, but he doesn't look attractive. But goddamn, could he fight?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was fight, and the 10 seconds. You know, he still had movement. He was still.
The reason why it looked weird, man, is because he had clipped Rolly with a good shot too, and I was like, why? If he's still defending himself, why did he just stop this fight? But like I said, I don't know. I'd have to watch the whole thing.
In the locker room, they always tell you, the referee will tell you, I'm going to tell you to show me something.
Mm-hmm.
I'll stop the fight if you're not doing anything that's defensive. Defensive means movements,
Right.
blocking, leaning back, leaning forward. If your hands are just up and you're taking shots, they're going to stop it.
Mm-hmm.
As you see the replay, he's moving. He's always fighting for defense.
You ever hear of Angel Hernandez?
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
Baseball umpire.
That sounds so familiar.
The
What did he do?
absolute worst. He's just the worst.
Okay.
He's just like rumor is he's been forced into retirement because he got taken off his team, and nobody's seen him since. But baseball, it happens too. You know, it's like, but baseball, it just makes more sense if the pitcher's not being a good person and he throws a dead on strike, the ump be like ball. You know, if the batter's being a dick and he gets it's way outside, umpires say, nah, that's a strike. You know, it's more of
It's a judgment call.
It's more of a you deserve. It's not what it is. It's what you deserve. But in boxing, you really can't be like that because there's too much being poured out in that ring where someone can say, yeah, but you were a dick to me in the locker room, so I'm not going to. Like baseball player, like when I was coming up, you know, everybody was blue. Like I made it up to the level where you just call the ump blue. Hey, blue, what's going on? But when you get into college ball, major leagues, minors, you got a scouting report on all the umpires in your locker room. Like his name's Bob. On the weekends, he likes to go horseback riding.
God.
Yeah.
He has 3 kids.
And you say something nice to him. That one that was way out, that slider that was out, you know, that just nipped the corner was all of a sudden way outside. But if you call him blue, which you're not supposed to do, that slider that was way outside, all of a sudden it just clipped the corner. But it's like you have those two dynamics of the sports, but one makes sense because it's a culture I'm used to. But the other one is like it absolutely couldn't. Like they got to have. I'm trying to think what kind of sense would it make if there was a entity in boxing that could just say no, they're gonna keep fighting. That where he could call the fight.
Well, that's the point of the ref, man.
No, I'm saying right. But what if like he calls the fight?
Like a
And
second
then-
ref.
And then the corner says, we want to appeal the decision to call the fight.
Well,
that can't be that can't be a real
and
thing.
it's weird because I'll tell you this, I can't remember what fight it was. It was recent. They went to the VAR, the fucking what's that? It's a VAR, but it's a fucking replay. Put it that way.
Okay.
They used the replay for one of the knockdowns. I can't remember what fucking fight it was, man. It was recent, and people were not cool with that. They're like, nah, he already ruled it a knockdown. Like, why? when the knockdown wasn't a knockdown, or it was. I can't remember if it was, and he counted it no, or if he
during the fight. So they put the fighters in the corners,
and he said no, never mind, no knockdown, or yes, a knockdown. I can't remember which one it was. And if you go through the comments, people were like not cool with it, like, oh no, he already made his call, like la la.
And I tell you, that's what you don't want somebody to be second guessing, because that contributes to the downfall of baseball. When everybody's like, oh, we're gonna bring instant replay into it, everybody lost their mind.
Yeah, but it's like, okay, so where do we win here? You don't want instant replay, but that's gonna tell you if the fucking call was fair or not.
Mm-hmm.
So what?
I don't know. I honestly,
you can't make everybody happy, bro.
It's gonna have to be a devil you just have to get used to having. Human error or possible corruption. Because I would, as much as it looks like it, it's like I'm like, I hate to find out Tony Weeks is corrupt, but in the end, this does not help him. This does. He's gonna have to go on Oprah.
And the thing that disappointed me about Tony Weeks is, like, I heard examples of referees that did stuff like that in the past, and Richard Steele was famous for doing that with Chavez and Taylor. But after the fight was over, Richard Steele stayed in the ring and gave an interview after. No matter what he stayed there and answered all the questions that they gave him. Mm-hmm. Tony Weeks did not refuse to speak to anybody.
He just walked off.
Yeah,
yeah. You kind of got to at least say, yeah. I said, yeah, I did it. Yeah, that was me.
I thought he was hurt. You know, something. No, he just walked off, and the commission refused to speak too. So that's what makes me like, what the fuck?
Yeah, when everybody's like,
I love my sport. So when I see something that I don't like, that looks shady, I'm gonna bring it up.
Somebody's got to answer for it.
Yeah.
And see, those are things that I didn't even know either,
Mm-hmm.
And that does play a part in people's perceptions for sure. And it's a shame, dude, because those who only watch boxing and don't really know what goes into it, these guys, it's a lot of, not only are they risking their lives on top of the ring, bro, but there's a lot of sacrifice. We've talked about this already.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of sacrifice that goes into this shit, and for something like that to happen, man, it's kind of fucked up.
That is. So I wish the best. I really want to see, but also because of who he is. Like, I'm not gonna say I was a longtime fan or anything like that. I just found out about the guy. But after he takes that loss, another shot. Yeah, my thoughts and prayers go to him getting another shot.
Yeah.
At the same, just beating this kid worse. Right.
And I didn't know much about him. When I saw Paul Malignaggi speaking about him, they've brought him in twice on short notice, and he's beat everybody. And
I always respect the replacement fighters. Just get that phone call. Hey, we need somebody this weekend. All right, I'll be there.
Some of these guys pull it off, too.
Yeah, and to pull it off. Yeah, that's one of the reasons I love Kwame so much.
He hit me so much.
This food.
That's one of the reasons I love Kwame so much, is because he stay ready. He stays ready for that phone call. I love that. Now, before we go into Haney and Lomachenko fight this weekend. Now, before we go into that, we got to give Coach props. He's 3-0. We forgot to give him a fight last week.
Which one?
Are you 3-0 or 2-0? 2-0. Okay, yeah. We didn't give you a fight last week, so you're 2-0. So, actually, before we go into that, last week we talked about the importance of having somebody in your corner.
Right.
And I completely forgot about a coach story, and I'm pretty sure you were there. You're always there. But just to recap, the people in your corner have to be able to communicate with you, the good and the bad. Both of them equally. Like, they have to be able to say, you got to fix this, or you're doing this great, keep doing that great. Not in a way that affects your self-esteem, but in a way that perfects your skills. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So we all know I'm on the spectrum. Like, that's both feet in, a lot of colors. And
for those who don't know what the spectrum is,
it's learning disabilities.
I know what the spectrum is, but some people.
With the education, you explain what the spectrum is.
You're talking about autism, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, there it is.
Yeah.
I don't like to use the word because.
No, and I think you know what, later on maybe we can kind of touch on it a little bit, but there's a lot of misconceptions about autism.
Yeah.
And I just had to I had to explain it to my dad, like layman's terms. I asked him, I was like, "Do you even know what autism is?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's like when you're hyperactive." I was like, "No, that's not." I said, "No, that's ADHD." But there is a spectrum because not everybody's autism is falls in the same. Some of them are a little bit more severe than others. So
It doesn't look like
that's
the
what
TV
the spectrum means.
It doesn't look like the television show you watch. Like that's what people have to realize. It's like if you saw it in a movie or on a television show, it's not really it.
Right.
It's difficult. It's a lot of difficulties. So my major difficulties are, of course, with context cues.
It's social. It's
social interaction.
Exactly.
Yep. And so, but I say all that to say, like sometimes after workouts, I would just get my energy would just be that same energy when we have the workouts. Energy goes up here, and then when it's ding and coach like tiempo, thanks everybody, and we walk off, I'm still like I don't have that turn off. Okay, and this is where I'm talking about. You have to be around people who communicate with you. Coach pulled me. I was just like, I remember the day I was lit, and I'm like, yeah, just give him a pop. Like, what's wrong with that? He looks like he's a girthy. He's a girthy guy. He can take it. He's looking at me like I'm gonna knock the shit out. But Coach, one day, it's just after workout. I'm still kind of, geeked. Yeah. And Coach's like, hey, you know what a governor is?
Oh, yeah.
And like, I'm so in it. I'm like, you mean governor? Like, I'm still going. He's like, no, it's a part of a car. And you explained to me it's a part of a car that no matter how hard you press down on the pedal, car is only going to go so fast.
Yeah.
Regardless of how hard you push down on the pedal. I was like, oh, okay. And he goes, you need one of those. He's like, sometimes you just get a bit too out of sorts. You need a governor. That stayed with me for that whole week. Yeah. And there was a lot of aspects of it. I was a little embarrassed that I needed that talking to. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, when you get that talking to, you feel that little embarrassment. It's like, there's nothing wrong with that. Just don't live there. Just be ready to move on to the growth part of it. And that's where the second thing is, like, I'm very glad Coach told me about it because I don't naturally have that in me.
Well, I just didn't want you wasting unnecessary energy, because when you leave from here, you have that, you still have your foot on the pedal when there's no need for it. Then you go to your second phase of your day and you're like, oh, and it isn't fair for that part of your day to not get the full you.
I 100% thought, I was just like, I was like, I know the shit out of Coach. So, but that's the important, and I always feel like my personality got a great upticking after I learned that. Just kind of not acting in a way that's appropriate in environments. No, what that caused me to do was be conscious of my output, be conscious of like my environment, and maybe sometimes I could just sit down and be quiet. Like that's a great thing now. Like that's a great little trait I have where I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to be quiet. Yeah, people are going to be like, hey, Adam, you okay? I'm like, no, I'm just quiet. It's like, somebody die? I'm like, no, I'm just quiet. But it's a great thing. What? Because I have one of those personalities where it's just like, if I'm quiet, I had one of those personalities where if I'm quiet, something was wrong.
Right.
But it does. It just allows me to, it keeps those, and this is very important, especially for my personality type. It keeps those lows from happening when you stay nice and level. Yeah. And you allow the excitement, but when those lows, it's like you're nice and level, you don't pipe up, and you don't crash down. So I've always been thankful for that. And after we recorded last week, I was like, I didn't tell the governor story. I almost made that my nickname.
The governor?
Yeah, I changed it from Pamphilo to the governor.
Gobernador.
What?
El gobernador.
Yeah, that's why I didn't.
Roll your R's.
No. All right, now let's go to we're gonna wrap this up. Let's go to this week's Loma and Chaco Haney flight. I got Loma.
Let Maggie go next.
I got Haney cut.
You got Haney? Why?
And
this is a belt. This is a belt. Haney has the belt.
Four.
He has.
Actually,
he has
five.
all four.
Yeah.
He has.
Yeah. Well, it's like the 4 sanctioning bodies and then the Ring magazine.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Ring magazine has a. I remember the Ring magazine. Mm-hmm. They have a belt too.
Yeah.
Okay. If magazines have belts, then yes, you're right. There's too many belts out there.
Yeah. No, but you know what? I have Haney. I think he's gonna pull it off.
Okay, I like Loma because left-handed fighter, and he's just so strong. He's smart. I love watching him fight.
Mm-hmm.
It's adventure. It's an adventure for me. And it's a good clinic for me too.
It is when, you know what, I will say this though, he's exciting to watch when he's loose, when he's flowing, because when he's not, it doesn't look so good. It's kind of boring. He starts really slow, but he lets go, and when he's in his flow, man, when he's really in the fight, it's really entertaining to watch.
Did you see him fight Comey?
Yes.
I loved Comey for taking that for going the distance with him, and but when Loma looked into Comey's corner and said, "You guys are going to throw in the towel,"
Yeah.
it's like,
All right.
like, and then he's like, "Okay, I'm gonna keep doing this." I don't know. To me, that was like, it wasn't showboating, but it was so fun to watch. Like, I'm a little bit of I like to see a little bit of showboating every now and then.
Yeah.
Okay, so now here we go. This is the real decision.
No, it doesn't. I mean,
Here we go. The humble first.
no, my political answer first.
Okay, yeah.
I want to see Haney win. I want to see him win. Saying that, I'm gonna go with Loma because I think he's gonna win.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna win. He has a lot to prove, and I just see him. He's been there too much. He's fought big names. The only big name that Haney has is Linares and Cambosos. And I mean, Loma.
Now, why? I'm forced to ask. You said from a political point, why would it be better if Haney won?
No, I'm just speaking like a diplomatic. Like, I want to see Haney win.
Okay, why?
Because he's a kid that is in the U.S. fighter. Been, I think he's based out of Nevada, but he's fought against everybody from Southern California. I just go with the kids that we're from.
Okay.
Here, he's from here.
He's good, man.
I seen him fight like his first 8 fights in Tijuana. 7 fights. I seen the kid grow and mature, and I would love to see him win. But saying that, I think Loma might be too much. If Haney's gonna have to fight him for 12 straight minutes, 12
straight rounds. Yeah,
the whole time.
And that's why it's like there's no slow. There's like. I think I get what you were saying, like when Loma he starts slow, but to me,
you can't afford to start slow in this fight.
Yeah, Haney's strong.
Every round counts, in my opinion, in this fight. I mean, not only is it for all the championship belts, man, but this is a kid who, he's got the conditioning. He's in shape. Like, this kid, you won't. I don't think I've seen a fight where Devin got tired. Like, his conditioning was. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Not that I can remember. That he started fading.
But everybody he fights, let him fight at his pace.
That's true.
Like Camboso let him just dictate with the jab on the outside, and he just made him look like he didn't belong there. Camboso don't have the pedigree and the experience that Loma has. And I'm not disagreeing with her. She's accurate, but I think that you have to make Haney fight.
Yeah, it's the old young, the youth versus experience. That's what everybody's fucking calling it.
I can definitely see that. I'm excited to see it. I definitely am. I missed the Tank fight was a bit counter, or what do they call it? Anticlimactic. And then I missed some fights after that. So I'm excited to see this one. I love watching.
I'm gonna be the party pooper in this one.
Go ahead.
Something I don't like about boxing is the excessive hugging.
Yeah, you do.
He said it.
Yeah.
And I told Maggie that I'm going to get my clicker and I'm going to count the hugs that Haney does. Okay? Before you guys start bashing me that I'm a Haney hater, I'm not. But there's unnecessary hugs a lot of fighters do recently. It's become part of boxing now. I've never taught that combination, 1-2 hug. And he hugs as soon as he has a disadvantage, he hugs.
I was sparring, and I saw someone leaning to throw their right hook, and I was like, I'm gonna go under it. I'm gonna just tear him up in the body, and I went under it, and next I got hugged. And while I was getting hugged, I was like, oh yeah, this is why Coach hates this.
I mean, trust me, if you're hurt, fucking grab him. That's the only time you were allowed to hug.
But the hug is a defense.
It's a defense because he's at a disadvantage. He does as soon as he gives up a disadvantage, he's grabbing you, and that's not cool. That makes the fight boring.
Yeah,
it makes it boring.
That's what you see in a lot of heavyweights. That's more common in heavyweight. Yeah.
Caleb Plant did it against Benavidez.
Caleb did it a lot, a lot with Benavidez. You know, it's like you give up. You want to fight when you have an advantage, but when you have a disadvantage, you don't want to fight, so you hug. And you're going to get that space to hug. Even the referee called Plant for it a lot of times. You know, he brought it to his attention. So I exaggerated my number with Maggie earlier. I told her 200 hugs. I think I'm going to call 150 hugs if the fight goes 12 rounds.
Ooh.
200 hugs.
Yeah, for those who like to drink, take a shot every time Haney
Oh,
hugs.
yeah, you guys like drinking?
No, don't. No,
Yeah,
that's a lot of shots.
Is that bad?
Just 150?
That's a... Don't. Just stop.
Don't do it? Was that bad?
No.
Take a swig from your beer every time you
Just
see it.
Don't do it.
Have a joint.
That's worse,
bro,
dude.
No, it's not, because they won't make it. Because after like
They're gonna be
75
stuck at somebody's
hugs,
house.
after like 75 hugs, they're just gonna go to sleep.
Well, toss a coin. See who wants.
No, they
to
won't
fuck
make it to 150 hugs. You take 75 hits off a
I'm
blunt.
gonna have my clicker. I'm gonna have to buy a new clicker.
Yeah.
Hey,
Or
for real.
hug. Why don't you guys do that every time you see Haney hug? Find somebody where you're watching. Say,
Call your loved ones.
Just hug them. It's like, oh man, I love
Call
you.
your grandma. I love you, grandma. Or call
Yeah.
your uncle you're mad at.
Yeah,
As soon as you see a hug.
Uncles hug too much anyway.
Yeah.
All right, folks, we're gonna wrap it up and call it here. We've had fun. Yeah, we know.
Wait.
Yeah.
Well, if he wins, man, like if Lomachenko actually beats Haney, man. I'm not gonna be upset, but fuck, dude.
Oh, really?
Like, for real?
Like, you-
yeah,
you-
because he's won
you got
every
emotions?
single one. He's won every one.
You got emotions in this?
No,
That sounded like emotions.
not really, but that just be a little too crazy for me.
It's
man.
not crazy. It's
Yes,
it's like if
to
you
me, yes.
when a winner wins.
Yeah,
That's
no,
called
I
consistency.
get it, but
I-
he's
I-
called every single one.
You talking about him? Call?
Yes,
Oh
yes.
yeah, no, he's gonna.
I saw Maggie. She was asking Bashir, what do you think about the fight? And Bashir was giving her his.
50-50.
He's like 50-50, but I think this, and that. She was hoping to hear her say, like, Haney all the way. Because I was talking to her. She was like, I don't know. She went to go talk to Bashir. And Bashir was like, no, it's a 50-50 fight.
My
Like,
bad.
what?
What I heard you, I heard you wrong. I thought you were saying.
it was like 4-0.
Wait. But just to explain why I was like, you got emotions in this. I thought you meant like Loma was gonna just keep winning. No, yeah, it'll be. I expect Coach to be right.
But if I'm not, I won't be upset. I just don't.
I
want to
will
go-
be.
So many
I will
goddamn
be.
hugs, Haney, please.
I won't be upset.
I want to see. I'm calling about.
I think Haney is more dangerous if he doesn't hug him.
That's true. He
but
has a
he's just
nice one too,
comfortable.
man.
But
He has a
that's
beautiful one,
a whole change in style.
No, I understand, but he would be just like Trinidad, bro. Like just
too. Yeah,
under and everything.
he has a beautiful
Keep
one
punching.
too, bro.
Yeah.
Keep punching, no hugging, keep punching.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds
I'm
like a
gonna make
lot.
a shirt. No hugs in boxing.
Yeah.
There's no hugging in boxing, just like there's no
Shit.
crying in baseball.
There's a lot of crying in baseball, bro. You seen those guys?
You better go before you start talking about the
That's
Padres.
why every time they throw a strike, dog, the batters get all pissed off. And they start crying, bro. Tell me they don't.
What?
When they call you for a strike, what's the first thing a batter does? He looks at the umpire, starts whining. Why is he calling it a strike?
If it's a strike,
It's a fucking strike.
it's just
Unless they go like this.
you haven't played since Little League.
So
Hey,
what?
man. I don't watch baseball, bro.
I like seeing
I don't
clips.
watch
I like seeing clips of Little Leaguers.
I
Like
was-
one of the things that TikTok shows.
When I was in Little League, I was like MVP, dog.
What? Okay, I bet.
Yeah.
One of the things that I do like in Little League, TikTok shows me this all the time, is little kids getting ejected for like
They
pointing.
get ejected?
Oh my God! All the time. They have shitty parents. That's how you know.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like and like the kid will get. I'm gonna be like strike. The kid will go. Just use his bat. The one thing you don't do is it was way over there. I'm just like get out of here. It's like some parent in this one league. I think it's on the East Coast. And they just started making like if a parent gets out of sorts, they can't come back until they ump 2 games.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Hey, for real, we should make the parents like, you got to spar. All right, motherfucker, come spar.
No. Hey, you know I coach Little League. I told you.
Yeah.
I coached 1 year. They had the president of our whatever region come supervise me because I called out parents. I called out dads. I called out coaches and other teams.
Just kept
In the parking lot. I didn't say nothing at the game.
Oh, yeah. You just waiting in the
Right in the
parking.
parking
You,
lot.
That's no, that's
I
scary.
said, you would talk. They'd be talking shit, and I'd be quiet, and I'd just be watching them. And all right. As soon as the game's over, I get the kids. Hey, good game, guys. I get my stuff and go to the parking lot, wait for them, and they'd basically just like, oh, that was just in the game, bro. Fucking pussy. So, anyways, they're still gonna complain about me, So they would tell Coach Vargas and Coach this. I had the regional president from I forgot what part of Northern California came down to watch me play. He was super cool. I took him to eat and everything.
That is insane. That's insane. You're just going to the parking lot threatening people.
I wasn't threatening them. I said, okay.
I wasn't.
You were scaring the shit out of
I
them.
wasn't threatening them. I wasn't screaming at them. I said, hey, you were saying something earlier? Let's get it off. Let's go do this.
Confronting.
Yeah. I wasn't threatening is if I talk shit to them.
Yeah, confronting is people.
People don't like it.
Beer after,
Yeah, people are more afraid of confrontation than they are the threats.
Yeah.
Well, I remember I had a couple of them tell me, you look too calm. I said, I'll buy you a beer after. Come on. They didn't want to.
All right, so jeez.
Hey, but that should be a thing, because it's some dads. Anyway, that'd be pretty cool if you could fucking spar him.
Yeah.
Oh, but no, because you're just gonna hurt the dad, and he's gonna go home and hurt the family.
That's true, dog. We'll leave it at that.
It's a cycle. All right, so now we're done. Coach has Loma and Chaco to win unless Haney stops hugging. So if Haney, the way I'm reading it is,
he thinks Lomachenko's gonna win.
the way I see it, if Haney doesn't hug more than 100 times,
No, he's going to hug.
but if he doesn't, he might win.
And I want people to write and how many times they think they got hugged after the fight.
Okay. All right. So have your clickers. Get your hug counts up. All right. So my name is Adam Alexander. I am the Peaceful Jedi on TikTok and Instagram. Coach Joe _hits on Instagram and TikTok. And Coach Magz _team hits.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's Magz with a Z.
Yeah.
So you guys are awesome. Thank you very much for enjoying another Between the Bellz. My name is Alex. Bye.